because you do not want to choose a career that is going to be phased out in the next 10 years and just realize that that is your future, unfortunately. High school is a time of rapid change and exploration. As a result, completing your grade 12 is a big deal because you're required to choose a career. As a result, you need to be very proactive in this process and do what is right for you. And due to the current climate that we found ourselves in, where people have found that their jobs can be replaced or that their jobs are no longer needed, it is important that you're choosing the right career for yourself, but also making sure that your chosen career will not be phased out in the next 10 years. As a result, this process is going to require you to do a lot of self-reflection to determine what is the best course of action for yourself. I would highly suggest that you also involve another adult that you trust, who knows you well and your personality, and they can also help guide you in choosing the right career for you. It might also be wise for you to involve a career guidance counselor because they are trained to help and guide you in choosing a career. I'm going to be giving you a few guidelines that you can look through to be able to determine what type of careers you might be interested in, but ultimately it's your decision and these are just guidelines. So the first step is determining your skills and interests. And the reason why this step is important is because you're going to be spending majority of your time at work. As a result, you need to be good at what you're doing, or you can improve your skill in doing that job. And two, you need to enjoy what you're doing. You don't want to be at a work or in a career that is going to make you miserable, because it's just going to be detrimental to your mental health and you're just not going to enjoy your life, because majority of your life is happening during your adult stage. As a result, you need to be enjoying the career that you're in. So what is the difference between a skill and an interest? A skill is something that you're naturally good at. For example, some people are just naturally good at sport, others are just naturally good at cooking, others are just naturally good at being organized. Whereas an interest is something that you want to learn more about. For example, you might be interested in genetics and you want to study something that will allow you to research about genetics and how, autoimmune diseases work and that sort of thing. So it's very important that you're able to differentiate the two. You can literally create a column where these are the things that you're good at and these are the things that you're interested in, and you can try to match up a few things that will allow you to create a career. So you might be good at writing and you can become a television writer or a journalist, or you might be good at public speaking and that will allow you to be a lawyer, a motivational speaker, a personal trainer, etc. So there are a lot of ways that you can go about this process to determine your skills and interests. The first one would be asking yourself very introspective questions to dig deep into why you do certain things, what are the intrinsic factors that motivate you and that sort of thing. So simple questions that you can ask yourself is, what school subjects do you enjoy and why? What extracurricular activities are you involved in? Why are you involved in them? Why do you enjoy them? Why do you not enjoy them? So there's a lot of why questions that come with this. What are you passionate about? You need to have that intrinsic fire within you when you're doing a career. It will allow you to be a more hardworking person, and it will also allow you to have more perseverance, because a career is not all going to be roses. But if you're passionate about something, you're able to stick through it for the long haul. What major life and career goals do you have? Because this will determine also the type of career that you're going into. Another thing that you can do is take personality tests. So the Myers-Briggs 16 personality test is a great tool that you can use. Yes, these personality tools are not meant to hammer your future in. They allow you to be able to articulate some things that you might not be able to. Different careers come with different lifestyles that you be able to live. Yes, it is important that you are interested and you're skilled in the type of career that you want to go into, but the type of lifestyle that you're going to have is also an important factor to determine. Yes, having a career that is interesting to you, that you're skilled at, is important, but taking on a career that has a type of lifestyle that you want to have is also equally important and rewarding, because you're going to be spending majority of your time at work. For example, if you want more free time during the holidays and weekends, then you might want to consider being a high school teacher, because that will allow you to have most of your weekends and most of your holidays off. So the next step after determining the type of skills and interests that you have is you need to get exposure, or you need to get experience about the working world. Yes, a career might sound nice and all bougie on the internet and when you're doing your research, but reality is a little different than what is painted on the internet. As a result, you need to have that first-hand experience of what it's going to be. So there's different ways that you can go about it. First is you can get work experience. This is through part-time work that you can do while you're still in high school or even once you've started university. And this work experience can either be in the field that you want to go into. Maybe you work as a personal assistant, or you can just get general work because you are going to be in high school. There's not a lot of jobs available to you other than retail and sales, and you can use that experience in retail and sales to determine what the working world is like, what are the type of personality that you need to be able to handle different situations. It just gives you that experience of being a working person. You also learn skills such as time management, being early on time, professionalism, and that sort of thing. Those are things that you will not necessarily learn in high school, but those are on job skills that you gain. Volunteer experience is usually targeted at the specific career or job profession that you want to enter into. Most companies are quite willing to take on young students to sort of mentor them into the type of career that you want to go into. This can be a long-term or a short-term thing. I know when I was in matric, we had to do it for, I think we were given 6 months to volunteer at a specific work that we want to do. This one is amazing to do because as a volunteer or as a job shadow student, you're allowed to go to many different fields within the company. So you might be interested in one field, but you actually discover that there's other things that can be doing within that specific field. So just having that hands-on experience is amazing, and most of them are quite great mentors, so able to answer all your questions about the type of education that you're going to require, the amount of training hours that you're going to need, the type of lifestyle that they live, and that sort of thing. So having that volunteer experience is amazing. It either gives you a really positive experience on what the type of career will be and influences you to go that route, or it can show you the realities of the work that you're going to go into. And most students get shocked when they discover the amount of years that they either have to study or the working hours. So it's very important that you determine these things before you set your path on a specific career, or just being made aware of it and just realize that that is your future, unfortunately. Another way for you to get exposure is to do your research and learn. This can either be through having discussions with people that are in that career. You can invite them for a coffee, or you can just have a conversation with them to determine if they're actually happy with the career that they're doing, how they are finding it, what interesting things are they involved in. So having that personal connection with someone within the career would really help you determine the type of career that you're going to enter into. And YouTube is a great platform for this because we are not all exposed to the different careers that we want to get ourselves into. As a result, there's a lot of students, there's a lot of working professionals that are putting their experience on YouTube, their training and that sort of thing. I mean, I'm putting my whole nursing journey on YouTube, and YouTube is a great platform for you to be able to learn passively through other people's experiences. You know, there's a lot of day in the life of what, and you actually get to see them, what their day is like. Yes, a lot of things might not be included, but it just allows you to get a feel and an idea of what is happening. And most people that put their career education and training on YouTube are going to be very brutally honest with you about the realities of it, because most of us, we might go into a career and we think it's one way, but actually discover that it's not like that. As someone who is in it, you would want to give you the information like, hey, this is what I've discovered, this is what you must be aware of, because it's not going to be written on the internet. You might not even discover it while you're doing your training in university. As a result, having someone who's a couple steps ahead of you giving you that guidance is very important. So it's important that you're finding these people either on YouTube or on Instagram. Everyone has different life circumstances, and as a result, you need to be aware of these circumstances because they will shape the type of career that you're going into, or they will shape the type of training that you have to undergo. So by fully understanding the type of needs that you have as an individual, it will help you to determine and choose a career that is personalized to you and your circumstances. So the first one is you need to be aware of the type of job market that we have currently. The job market has changed rapidly due to obviously industrial revolution, you know, younger people entering the workforce, but majority of it is because of COVID. We've discovered there's a lot of things that we can do online. There's a lot of jobs that we've discovered can be replaced, and you know, people don't necessarily have to be at work to be functional, and some people can be replaced because things can be done electronically and that sort of thing. As a result, you need to be very wise in the type of career that you're going to choose, because you do not want to choose a career that is going to be phased out in the next 10 years. You need to choose a career that is going to allow you to continue to develop yourself as a professional. It's going to allow you to be very innovative, and it's moving with the time, because if it's not moving with the time, you're going to become stagnant and you're easily able to be replaced by something that's a bit more trendy, that's moving with the time. Another thing to consider is personal finances. This is a big one, and unfortunately it is a big determinant for some students entering into university. So you need to be fully aware of the type of budget that you have. I mentioned this in the first video that I did about mistakes to avoid, and I gave you a challenge about actually looking at your budget and that sort of thing. So I'd highly suggest you go watch that video if you haven't, or to actually do the challenge I gave you in that video if you forgot about it. So once you're aware of the type of budget that you have, you now need to determine the steps to counteract that. What does your budget look like? How much money do you need to cover your tuition, your accommodation, your transport, your food, and that sort of thing? The next personal circumstance that you need to be aware of is family obligations. So do you have older parents that you need to take off? Do you have kids that you have and now you're going back to school? So being aware of these circumstances will help you to choose a career that is a bit more flexible, or you're going to choose a study route that is a bit more flexible to you, that will allow you that freedom to be able to take care of your family obligations while also studying. As a result, you might be forced to either study from home, work part-time, or find a university that is closer to home. So being aware of these personal circumstances will really help you to tailor make your university experience so that it's more accommodating to your personal circumstance. If you have a disability, it is important that you do your research, be able to find out what type of support different universities are going to provide for you. Another thing is language. If you're going to go into a career that is going to allow you to interact with a lot of people, like if you're going into journalism and that sort of thing, it would be highly advisable that you're multilingual so that you can interact with people in different languages that they're more comfortable with. It allows you to be a bit more open with more people than if you've got one language. I highly suggest that you start learning, a few phrases in other people's languages so that you're able to communicate better with other people. Another thing that you need to be aware of is timing. Not everyone is ready to go into university or to start a career straight after university, and that is okay. So if you want to take a gap year, that is also an option to you, but please use your gap year wisely. Yes, you might want to travel if that is a means that is available to you, cool, but if not, what are you going to be using your gap year for? What skills are you going to be equipping yourself in that gap year? How are you going to be keeping the information that you learned in high school fresh in your mind so that when you go back to university, it's not a big jump? What are you going to be doing to keep yourself active? Are you doing it so that you can find funds for university? What options do you have? Where can you work? Where can you find the most money and that sort of thing? So you just need to be aware. So if you are going to be taking that gap year, please use it wisely and effectively, because 12 months is not a joke, and there's a lot that you can do in that time. But please note that these personal circumstances should not limit your choices, but being aware of them is important so that you can counteract them and you can find ways to work around them, so that whatever career that you're going into, it's going to fit with your personality and your personal circumstances, instead of trying to fit yourself in another career. It's going to be a very big adjustment for you if you do that. And the last thing that I want to mention is, please choose a career that is best for you and what you want to do. I know in the Black culture there's a lot of very involved parents that who want to push sort of an agenda of careers that they want you to enter into, and this is mostly pushed on students that are really smart, because you're really smart, then as a result, there's a whole array of careers that you go into. If something does not sit right with you, rather have a discussion about it, but please make sure that you're choosing a career that is something that you want, something that will make you happy. Yes, you can do a career that your parents suggested, it's lucrative, it's got the status and that sort of thing, but if it's going to make you miserable, it's going to be a very, very long journey for you, because you are the one who's going to be studying for the next 4 to 10 years. You're the one who's going to be stuck in that career for the next 5 to 10 years until you eventually decide you want to move and that sort of thing. You're the one who's going to be doing all that work. All they're going to do is either provide you advice, and some are going to provide the financial assistance, but please make sure that you choose a career that is good for your mental health. There's a lot of students that are reaching a point of burnout, suicide, self-harm, and that sort of thing, because they are being forced into careers that they do not want to go into. So it is very important that you're having these one-on-one conversations with your parents. So please make sure that you're all going to be in the same trajectory of what is going to be happening in your life, and you're going to do something that is going to make you happy and is going to fulfill you, because you're going to be spending a majority of your life in this career. So it's important that you're choosing this career wisely. So I really hope these points will help you. I've told you guys in the previous videos that it's going to get deeper and deeper as we go into this. So please do the work and actually self-introspect, actually learn a lot about yourself, why you do certain things, why do you like certain careers, and that sort of thing, so that you're making a very informed decision. If you've got the financial means or you've got the resources available to you, I would highly suggest that you get yourself involved and talk with a career guidance counselor, because they are trained to guide you through this whole process, because it's a lot of information, it's a lot of things that you need to determine when choosing a career. So if you can use those resources to make the best decision possible, that's awesome. If you do not have such resources, the internet is there for you. I've also put down a career explorer test down in the description box, where you can use that test to determine what sort of careers would suit your personalities. So until next week Friday, 12 p.m. South African time, have an awesome one. Bye guys.